G'day again. I had planned on starting the video over at the Moringa because there's some exciting things happening over there, but I took a slight detour this morning and had a bit of an impulse buy. I had to travel over to Sunshine West to a Facebook marketplace seller named Lily Pink, and yeah, I was just scrolling through looking at plants and saw these three beauties there, so couldn't believe the height, very reasonable price, and I haven't got these yet, so these are for future plans in an area I'll show you next, near where the Moringa is. But on the left here we have a very big star apple, probably 2 meters tall, and beautiful foliage on it. If you look underneath, I first saw these at Ryan's place down the road, and I couldn't believe underneath it almost looks like oil-based paint. So it's also known as the milk fruit, I was told when I brought this home, and beautiful specimen. And I've repotted it up, just a slightly bigger pot because we're coming into winter, so I didn't want to put it into a massive pot. So next to that we have a large Mamey Sapote, which is about 1.7 meters tall, perfect condition, and putting out some new growth. Trunk size about 1 inch. And next to that, something I've been wanting to try for a while. They're quite wind tolerant, and I didn't know I'd be able to find one this size though. This is probably 2.2 meters tall, and this is the sweet tamarind. So I've got a spot for this in the front yard where the white sapote was going to go, so it gets quite windy there, so reading up on these, they can handle a lot of wind. And look at the size of that. Look how tall it is. So yeah, Lily Pink on Facebook Marketplace. Sunshine West is where I got these, but he also goes to the Wanturna Market with plants. So if you're in that area, you want to save yourself a couple of years on waiting time to get to this size, probably more than a couple of years. Yeah, check it out. Alright, so I'll walk over to the Moringa now, and I'll show you what's been happening on that. Just as we pass this lychee here, that's the Taiso. That's over 2 meters tall now. The Moringa itself, the trunk, is probably 3 inches now, and the tree will be 4 meters tall. There's actually flower buds on it. Excuse the wind, but so that was a little bit hard to film. I hope they showed up on camera. The tree was blowing around a bit there in the wind, but that's a very big milestone. It's probably flowering a little bit late in the season because it's about to start getting quite cold here, but it's a good sign that next season, or who knows, maybe even later this year, we might get some drumstick pods on the Moringa tree. So this particular one is a seedling. It's for perspective there. That's very strong. like if I try and shake the tree, it's very solid. I don't think anything can kill this one right now going forward, but we've also got cutting grown ones and pot grown ones, and none of them have died. So I put this cutting in a pot when I was quite inexperienced, and I didn't put it in a small pot, I put it straight into a large pot, and even that one is thriving. So I think the partial shade while they're young, not full sun, I think that makes a difference, because they only get a little bit of morning sun that comes through there. This entire area was a big surprise to me. I always thought it'd be too shady, but it's turned into one of our most productive areas. So this is a hog plum, and every year it just gets bigger and bigger. It's just in a little pot there. So having seen how things seem to thrive in this area, I'm going to make a few changes here to improve it. So you can see the black sapote here. It's got a trunk thick enough now that I think it will fruit next year. They seem to drop all the fruit until they get a nice sized trunk. But that's the chocolate variety. Yeah, I've got all various potted things through here, herbs, and well, there's the cherry tree. Here we've got a couple of rose apple grafted wax jambu, so the rootstock is rose apple seedling, and grafted onto that is red wax jambu from a friend of mine. So got two of them there, and here's some canistel, two different seedling varieties from Ryan. Kindly gave these to me that he'd been nurturing for a few years, so they'll also stay in this this little shaded area. But everything seems to go fantastically here. There's a nice big curry leaf tree. So if I stand from the back here, that's all that steel roof there, that complete area. I'm going to slice it down there, and from that beam to there it will be clear plastic sheeting next year. Hopefully next year I get around to it, which will yeah, really help with the tropical stuff. And then that entire area there will be yeah, most of the day sun and very warm. And I might build a little structure over the boat here to sit some of the herbs and things on there to make up some room over in the more valuable areas. These epiphylium, they'll get relocated to the eaves of the house, which will free up this concrete section for some of the other plants to get bigger, and should be able to taste some of these epiphylium soon. So it's a lot of effort, but I won't use the word work, because it doesn't feel like work when you enjoy it so much, the hobby. All this area here I used to have to protect pretty much everything out the back here and out the front. Every winter I'd have to put up frost cloth over the top of everything, and sometimes build a fire on the really cold nights, and do that for 2 or 3 years until everything acclimatizes, and now I don't really have to cover anything. You can see over the back there is a ice cream bean, which is getting quite large. I think the Wampy this variety has some fruit ready. We might pick that later. So is it worth it, all the effort? Absolutely, it's worth it. And you'll find as the rarer plants, the more marginal ones get large, like these two avocados here. They're actually less maintenance than your traditional, more common plants in a temperate climate, like this this lemon here next to the avocado is riddled with, not riddled, but got quite a few leaf mould on it, which I'm taking care of, but it's hard to keep up. And then you've got that next to this Japanese plum, the Santa Rosa, and never gets water on its leaves. I never water the leaves, but the leaves are actually covered in rust. They're covered in rust now, and the reason for that is, as all these tropicals and subtropical plants take over and get quite large, the airflow in the property isn't as strong, and it's quite humid. Actually, you can actually feel the difference when you come out into the backyard as opposed to the street or at the local shops. So the increased humidity has started to affect the temperate plants. So this is a first, this rust on the leaves, but I'll try and prune that tree a little bit more open to increase the airflow. But that's just an example of a more commonly grown plant struggling, whereas the less commonly grown plants are thriving. I think in a temperate climate you can kind of ignore the labels on plants that are sold in subtropical areas where it says full sun. I think part shade, everything seems to do much better in part shade in Melbourne. That's a pink limeberry there. It has some fruitlets on it, quite a few, and I planted this as a protection tree. I had no idea the fruit was going to get this large. This is a unique Feijoa. I can't wait to try that. But all their purpose, and the little jabbo down there, the purpose was to protect this star fruit. Star fruit, which is hidden away in there for winter. So as the plants grow around it, it'll protect it from that buffering wind, which they seem to hate. So another reward of growing these subtropical plants is, as autumn approaches and all the other deciduous plants are losing their leaves, this is the time I find that the subtropicals put out most of their new growth. Right in that sweet spot between 20 and 30 degree maximums. And so as everything else is shutting down, these plants put out one last push before the winter. So these are all various hybrid Jaboticabas, and some of them will probably reach near the top of the fence next season. I let this Glen mango hang on to one fruit, and it's quite a large fruit for a small tree. So I've asked Vu from Lily Pink if you can get some Glen mangoes in advanced, and hopefully you can, because I've got a spot for one more of these. These seem to be the best one to grow in Melbourne. We'll go into the front yard here. I've already put that tamarind that I showed you earlier in its final home. So it's already reached the top of the eaves of the house. yeah, we'll see how wind tolerant it is. So we'll move on through here. I've just come out here to harvest some of these wonderful variety pomegranates, and you can see there the tree's quite loaded in them. So that's another reward, obviously, is harvesting the fruit. Oh, there's a nice big one up there. So, yeah, very rewarding to not have to go to the supermarket to get these things. But I think the biggest reward is watching young kids pick the fruit that you've grown. So around the garden there's a lot of plants that are planted at the right height for kids to pick them. So most kids love blueberries, so that's why they're sort of raised up like that, and strawberries. So if you find out there's more kids coming along, or you're running out of strawberries, you haven't got enough, just use strawberries as a garden border. This used to be mondo grass, which is just a formal sort of a garden border. And I realised that we were going to have a shortage of strawberries, so pulled out all of that formal stuff and added that in, and it's one of our best producing beds now. Just fertilise it once a year, and yeah, put a little border up to it so you can whippersnip, trim the grass right up to the edge. And mandarins is another one. Squeeze in mandarins wherever you can. This is the Japanese seedless. We've got 4 varieties of mandarins, so might pick a few of them too. Alright, let's try this. I may as well add this to the video. This plant doesn't have any buttressing yet, so it can be quite fragile there at where it meets the soil. So I'm trying this for the first time. Haven't seen it done anywhere, and I'm definitely not recommending it until we see how it goes. But just to support that such a tall tree, what I've done, I've put 4 stakes around the bottom, and I've forced them into the side of the pot with a trailer tie down that you'd use to secure your load on the back of your trailer or your roof racks, and secured them and then tied them off like that, just till the tree gets a little bit stronger. And I've only put it in this spot because just to get a last little bit of warmth, and then in the middle of winter I'll put it under the carport with the rest of the trees. But I think it might actually help, but we'll see what happens. So I've got 2 wampy trees. The one in the background there, that's the Yimpe, and that had a small fruit on it when I brought it, and it tasted like sugar. Very nice. But this one here is the Guy Sam, which I haven't tasted yet, and there's mixed reviews on this online. Some say it tastes a little bit citrusy, others give different opinions, but I think that's the colour they're meant to be when they're ripe. That's a small fruit because it's the first time it's fruited. There's a few other bigger ones on the tree, but yeah, I'll give that a quick taste. So I can't believe that some of these trees are getting big enough now that I can sit under them. I still remember buying them when they were quite small. So there's the wampy, and as I was peeling back the skin, the overriding smell was curry leaf, believe it or not. That's very interesting. It's tangy, sweet and tangy. is how I describe it. The Chinese say that the remedy for eating too many lychee is to feast on wampy, and I can see what they mean. It's a completely opposite flavour to the lychee, but not every fruit can be your favourite fruit, obviously, and that's not going to be my favourite fruit, but it's still quite nice. And I can imagine there'd be people out there that it is their favourite fruit. So yeah, that's the wampy, but its main purpose was to be a non-leaf shedding tropical edible tree near the fish pond, which is over the corner there, same as the longan and the wampy, the pomelo, a couple of sapodillas and some achachas. And the achachas especially, they haven't dropped a single leaf in their lifetime, which I was very surprised about. And they're in ground, and the only protection they get is shade mesh, which I hope to remove one day when the ice cream bean becomes the new shade canopy. Alright, so thanks for watching as always, really appreciate it, and I'm going to have to get stuck into the watering again, because believe it or not, today, even though it looks quite overcast, it's actually in the low 30s Celsius, and we've got another 30-degree day coming later in the week, so garden's still quite dry. The autumn rains hasn't arrived, and yeah, been quite busy trying to keep the water up to plants. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.